Welcome back to Tech Tuesday right here on K24 Alfajiri. And the first conversation we're going to have this morning, it's about the role of technology and customer experience. Now, when you hear customer experience, one of the last things that crosses your mind is how technology comes into play. And thank goodness we have two ladies in the building who actually want to unpack this conversation with us. They are board members of the Institute of Customer Experience, starting off with Carolyne. Thank you so much. Gathuru, sorry, thank you so much for coming through. Yes. And of course, Benta, Okinyi, Aseto, thank you so much for coming. All right, so let's start off with, what is the Institute of Customer Experience?
Institute of Customer Experience is a professional body that promotes customer experience in this country.
Yes.
We try to raise the standards of customer experience both in public sector and private sector. So it's an association. The way we have an association for, say, lawyers or doctors or accountants, this one is for customer experience enthusiasts. So anybody who wants to make a difference with regards to customer experience professionally and personally, that's the body that we are.
You know, I like that she said enthusiasts, because rather than talking about practitioners, which means that you're kind of limited by your profession, it's all about kind of your passion for the customer experience, which is something I've enjoyed hearing you say.
Yes, it's not limited or boxed to professions.
Yeah.
Because as we say, customer experience is not a department.
Yes.
It's everybody.
Yeah.
Right from the gate to the CEO, everybody is in charge of customer experience. So the body is open to all.
Which is a really great conversation to have, because when you go online, one of the major issues you see people talking about is, you know, positive and negative experiences when it comes to, you know, their customer experience. So Benta, let's talk about customer experience in itself. What is it for someone who's watching right now and is like, okay, I've heard of customer service, but what is customer experience? Like, so can you unpack that for us?
Thanks, and good morning. So though the two are related, experience has to do with every single experience that a customer has interacting with your brand. So for K24, for example, if I went to your website, that interaction that I would have some experience out of it, a positive one or a negative one, depending on how easy it is.
Right.
So it's really that whole that whole experience that a customer has. So it would be your website, it would be engaging with your colleagues, it would be the experience that we are having here, for example. So that sum total is what customer experience is. And what is important with the experience is, that to make sure that it is a positive experience, and then secondly, with every single experience, try and make sure that, there are positive emotions that we leave the customer with.
Yeah. Yes. I'm glad you brought up positive emotions, because how do I do that as a custodian of a brand? How do I make sure that anyone who comes into some form of interaction with my brand comes away with a positive emotion?
So we always say that experience will happen anyway. But I think if you want to get positive emotions, then really you have to design it.
Yeah.
You have to determine what sort of experience do I want to give. And after you have designed it, then you train all the teams. Like Caroline said, it's from the Askari to the CEO. So the CEO has to know, when people interact with our brand, what is it we expect? How do we talk to them? And that has to happen across every department. So when you design it and train people, then you will get the positive emotions.
Yeah, let's still on the positive emotions. A lot of people think of customer experience as just a preserve of larger brands, larger organizations. But in the social media, people are in the business of creating their own personal brands as social media influencers, as artists and all that stuff. So in that kind of context, how does one also create a positive experience, even as a sole custodian of your brand as an individual?
Okay. So again, as I said, as an individual or an entire brand, you have to be sure what it is that you want to deliver and how it is that you want to deliver it. Exactly. So, so that you don't leave it to chance, so that you don't leave it to people's different interpretations. So if, for example, somebody communicates with you, this is how we respond, in a professional way, in a tactful way that is courteous. And that cuts across individuals as well as great brands.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm glad that you're talking about courtesy, because even one of the major issues that Kenyans have had with various brands, whether small or large, is how they are handled whenever they express a concern. So as, enthusiasts, like Caroline said, of customer experience, when you're talking about creating positive experiences, when you're talking about the courtesy and handling your customer properly. What was if someone comes to you with a crisis situation of we kind of made a little mistake, what advice would you give them?
First, I would like to advise that we will all make mistakes.
Yeah.
It will happen. If it hasn't happened now, it's going to happen.
Yes.
Plan for it.
It's inevitable.
Yes.
Yes.
Whether you're an individual brand, a small entrepreneur, you have your side hustle, you're a big brand, you're a small to medium enterprise, it's going to happen. Plan for crisis.
Yes.
Plan for service failure. What will I do when something goes wrong?
Yeah.
Don't wait for the thing to go wrong and then start trying to figure it out then. Figure it out in advance.
Yeah.
So when something goes wrong, you have your plan. Even online, you have your plan. Somebody has complained. Don't try to figure it out there. Think in advance. If somebody complains online, how do I want to handle it?
Absolutely.
And the best way to handle it is how you want them to feel.
Yeah.
How would you feel? Empathize, listen, acknowledge, investigate really quickly. Let them know what you're doing, because many times you're doing many things in the background to try and fix it, and you're not telling the person, I'm doing 1, 2, 3 things.
Right.
And we are very patient. Human beings are patient. You just want to know, I care, and I'm doing something.
Which is so important.
Doing something.
And especially the second thing, like something is being done about my complaints.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which I really like. So let's move on to the role of technology in customer experience. To what extent does tech drive customer experience?
Tech is a great enabler for customer experience.
Yeah.
Tech has come to make things simpler, faster, more efficient. It's a savvy way to handle customers.
Yeah.
And so it has a big role to play in customer experience, but it also must be planned for.
Right.
So even as you put in place technological interventions to deliver excellent customer experiences, it must be in line with your customer experience strategy.
Yes.
What is it you want to achieve at the end? How will technology help you to do that?
Yeah.
So that's its role. It's in partnership. It's a marriage. There's no customer experience without great technology, and technology on its own will not deliver great customer experiences.
Because, of course, the human touch is also required. I mean, a robot will be highly efficient. Yeah, but, the customer experience is enhanced just by the humanity of, interpersonal relationships and interactions.
So maybe what I could add, in addition to what Carolyne has said, is that there are mundane processes that we actually do, in the course of work. So you can automate some of those, and that will be assisted by technology. That makes you more efficient. You're able to replicate the same process, and in that way, technology therefore assists you in the process of customer experience delivery. Secondly, with technology and experience, as you're designing this very high-tech systems that you will use, then you really have to have the customer in mind. What is easy for them? What is convenient for them? How do they, like our mobile phones, we've probably just learned to use them on our own without huge manuals. Because it is customer friendly and because it's easy to use. So that is the other way in which they are very interdependent. True.
You've just told me about, automation of the mundane processes, during the customer experience process. So can you take us through some of these mundane things that would enhance the customer experience if they were automated?
Okay. I think we can start with very, very simple processes like calculations, for example. You either have, lots of sheets of paper to calculate, or alternatively, you could use a system with some formulas and it will just get it right for you.
You just key something in.
Exactly.
And then
you key something in and, it will assist you.
Right.
The other thing is that, for example, we were talking about handling customers and the issues that they have. Now, you could either have that on, again, a piece of paper or a spreadsheet. Alternatively, you have got a customer relationship management system, which is CRM, where you key in everything and you're able to see that within this period, these are the main issues customers are complaining about. We've been able to resolve everything. And in planning your experience strategy, you use that. At a click of a button, you'll be able to get slice and dice different views
Right.
that enables you then to give a better experience. So those are just some examples. There are many, many more.
I like also the idea of just, a customer experience kind of manual, like, that's a place where you can track all the complaints, all the concerns, because it also does help you just address things and make sure there are no repeats of certain things.
Absolutely.
Rather than we have 50 files that, one of them I last touched it in 2009,
Exactly.
which makes perfect sense.
And over and above just tracking the complaints, it's great to track the great things.
Yes.
What fantastic things are customers saying, so that we hang on to those and we make sure we don't let them slip.
Right.
Because we often just look for the complaints, what are customers complaining about, what are they unhappy about, and then we don't track the compliments. The great things they are saying, so that we can know what created that, what created that delight, what created that marvelous experience, so that we can recreate it over and over again. So this technology allows us to track all of this, trend it, look at it, and use it to plan and strategize.
And, it's really good that you talk about, because people when they think about customer experience, the first thought they have is negative customer experience.
Correct.
Which, it's natural, because that's the only time people think about what was my customer experience. It was really bad.
Yes.
But when something is really good, they take it as a given that it should be good. So even as an organization, it's really good to track what is working so that we can keep doing it.
Yes.
All right.
Indeed.
So let's move on to, the technological interventions, just basically that help, things like surveys. Let's talk about the role especially of things like customer surveys. When you walk into a mall and someone wants you to fill in a certain form, or they want to ask you questions, or you find emails from your favorite brands. So what role does that play?
So technology has a really big role in making it, very fun, interactive as you do your survey.
Yes.
A lot of products these days and services, after you have used them, you probably can just press onto your mobile phone and say, so this is what worked for me with this product, and give instantaneous feedback.
Right.
So, you don't have to wait for a whole survey to actually be rolled out. And a lot of these surveys are very interactive and very, very interesting.
Yes.
Now, beyond surveys, you also have got deep customer insights.
Right.
And I think one of the brands that comes to my mind is Amazon, for example, where they have tracked a particular group of customers, and they can see when you purchase a particular book that customers who bought this book also bought this other one. Really, that must be some technology in the back end that's working very well and able to just able to guide you and direct your choices. The other thing is just around data analytics. So when we look at you, for example, you have got different faces with which you interact with different brands.
This is true.
And technology enables bring all that together so that we can see you from a one customer view. So you're not splintered across the different channels that you do. And this is what data analytics really helps the marketers and customer experience people to craft the right products. Now, contact centers are a very new feature in customer experience. Today you can call on a Sunday at midnight and post your whatever views that you have. Now, these are enabled by technology.
Right.
So technology has got a really big place in just driving customer experience excellence. There's a lot of self-service tools as well. You can go into an ATM today, not just draw money, you could order cash, post feedback, etc. Yes. So all these are technology enabled to just help to drive customer excellence.
Which I really enjoy as well, especially the self-service modes, because especially in the banking sector, for instance, it has taken us away from the era of standing in line for many hours. So I don't remember the last time I was literally in a bank to deposit, because I can also do it from the ATM.
In fact, many brands are discouraging the physical, that you have to physically come there. If you can do it online, the better. And then give feedback. And all these technological interventions, they must have that human face that you are talking about in the background. Because technology for just technology can be very robotic. You can pick up the call and make a call to a brand,
and then
you have very
voice.
robotic, automated voice.
Yes.
So where's the enthusiasm in that voice? Where's the warmth in that voice? Where is the customer experience in that voice? And so therefore we caution that technology is fantastic. We can't do without it. It's the bedrock.
Yes.
But on top of that, we layer it with a human face.
Which is why, like, when you mention contact centers, we have 24-hour contact centers. Like my bank, I'll be able to do anything, but any hour of day or night, I will pick up the phone, dial the number to a contact center, and be assured that I'll be speaking to a human being.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And speaking of positive and negative experiences, you know, so if you call the contact center because you're interacting with people, you know, so if it's a great experience, you know, they'll hear it in your voice. You know, you've just come from this great wedding, and therefore you want to check if you have enough balance to take your Uber to the reception, for example. You know, they will hear and they can flow with that.
Yes.
The other one is if then the experience is not so positive, you've lost your card.
Yeah.
You want somebody to say, you know, I'm really sorry, before they efficiently go on to sort the process.
Absolutely.
So they're connecting with you at a very human level.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which actually makes perfect sense because, like you said, you just want, number one, to hear that someone cares, and number two, to know that something will be done.
Yes.
Exactly.
All right, let's move on to the cost and the ROI, the return on investment on tech platforms that support customer experience. What is the cost implication? What is the return on investment? If I'm a brand and I want to enhance customer excellence and the customer experience, and I'm thinking, okay, there are various things that Benta and Carolyne have spoken about, but where will it hit me where it hurts? And also, if it's still slightly expensive, what is my return on investment?
Yeah, it needs to be looked at as an investment, actually. The same way we invest in the brand, the same way we invest in capital items, this is how we should invest in customer experience excellence. Because ultimately, without the customer, there is no business. Whether you're that small hustler, whether you're this multi-billion-dollar blue chip brand, no customer, no business.
Absolutely.
So any investment in the customer should be viewed as such. Like we are investing in this to really enhance the experience for business development, for brand equity, for great reputation, for repeat business, for the internal customer feel-good factor as well. And so any technological investment needs to have that at the back. So even as we compute the numbers, we need to look at these numbers we are computing to put in place these technological systems. This is what we are going to get out of it. It's going to be faster, it's going to be more efficient, it's going to be more pleasant, the customer will come back, will tell others, great word of mouth, that's the biggest seller. And so every CEO, every finance manager, every marketing and customer experience practitioner needs to think through this investment that we are making, and we are calculating in terms of shillings. We need to equally calculate what are we getting out of it when the customer comes back.
Absolutely.
Yes. So that's the viewpoint, that's the lens through which we are asking everybody to do. And even just that small business person, your investment is that phone call. Make that phone call. Get voice of the customer feedback. Ask your customer, how did I serve you? Did I serve you well? Send them a text. So it's technology at a small scale. It's also technology at a big scale. The ROI is the same. And so that's what we are proposing.
Thanks, Carolyne. I think the other thing that I would add, and I think, you know, what Carolyne has said is exactly, it's really spot on. There will be some numbers that you must look at, you know, top line and bottom line, which is where you have your costs for investing in technology. And those numbers have to make sense for the return on investment to be positive and for you to go ahead and invest. So once then those numbers make sense, then it's important as well to recognize that there will be some benefits that you will get that may not have a number per se. And you will only tell, you know, if you don't invest. These are things like reputation. You must put a number onto reputation because companies that have invested in relevant technology have better reputation than those that haven't. There are things like customer goodwill that, you know, you must find a way of translating into a number. And perhaps that's the second step. After you've looked at what do the numbers say and you have a hunch that this is okay, then you know that there are more benefits that you will then gain. But there is definitely a positive return on investment.
Absolutely.
If you invest right.
Yes, and that's a really important thing. If you make the right investments, of course, the ROI will speak for itself.
Correct.
Yes. The next question, because people keep asking about, the Africa's readiness for various innovations. So do you believe that Africa is ready to marry tech and customer experience?
All right. So I think just drawing from the previous conversation that we have had, so after you have invested in tech, obviously you then have to spend the many hours you have to do so that the uptake is right. Both internally and externally, if then customers are involved in that tech process. And so, this marriage between experience and tech, I think it's a good marriage we can officiate now.
We can have that ceremony.
Exactly. However, I think what will convince one organization versus the next and the pace will really depend on the customer experience maturity in one versus the other. So let's start with the converts who believe that yes, there is a place for CX and tech, like Carolyne and myself here. So if you're at, there are various levels which we probably don't have time to go into now. But if you're at a place where you believe that there is value, the numbers have already told you yes, maybe you're already on that journey, then you'll find it's a lot easier to embrace technology because you've already seen the benefits in experience. And hopefully your bottom line is also showing. So the more mature an organization is, the easier it is. There are many brands we can mention here where, every week there is an update, a new version of this and the other, because they've already seen. Sometimes if the level is not there, we are still struggling even to sort out our salaries. It doesn't mean you don't embrace tech. You can start in a small way, as Carolyne has said, what you can afford, and then scale up as you grow. So
it just depends where you are in the Maslow's hierarchy.
It just
whether you're survival or you're closer to self-actualization.
Absolutely. So I think in our experience, that's what we have seen. And it really doesn't depend on size, because you find huge companies with big coffers, but who are still a bit cagey about does this thing really make sense? And, we don't need to name them here, but a number of them, the customers have shown them the door. Because the whole world is actually moving tech. So there is a place for it, and it's to say, work out your numbers, see where it's right to get in, so that then you reap the return on investment. So Africa is ready.
We are ready, and we also need to be cognizant of how ready are we ready. Because the customers sometimes, and as Kenyans, we are really into I want to be served. When you listen to da-da-da-da, press 1, da-da-da, press 2, or wait for the customer care agent.
We all press 0.
We wait for that person to talk. Or if it's a self-service store, you want the person to come and serve you. You don't want to go to the counter and serve yourself. So the customer education process from the brand side needs to happen, so that customers know this is what's in it for you. This is how it's going to make your life better, so that you're not queuing there, you're not waiting there, and it could be done like this.
You've actually kind of answered the next question about the role of artificial intelligence, because, just the role of it, you've touched on it several times, that technology on its own sake is not going to enhance much the customer experience. We need to hear and see people who care.
No, true.
But AI is here, artificial intelligence, whether we like it or we don't like it, it has arrived. We'll either get left by it or we move with it. So the key question is this robot that we have that's responding to inquiries, and quite a number of brands have chatbots responding to inquiries already. So you think it's a human being, but it's actually a robot. How are they responding? What have we programmed? Because what you put in is what comes out.
Absolutely.
So the robot is there, all right. AI is here, all right. But what's in the background? What's your strategy? Is it human focused? Then only can the robot deliver.
Absolutely. So finally, how can a brand tailor their social media strategy to enhance the customer experience?
So I think social media is an enabler. As we have seen. And again, today, you really have to be present on social media. Look, if you're not, start now. But then with customer experience, the social media strategy has to be weaved into your customer experience strategy so that it is not a standalone. And what then the strategy will say is that, you know, if you have this nature of post on social media, how do we get into it? How do we respond to it? How quickly? You know, and therefore your social media strategy and your customer experience strategy actually go hand in hand. Then social media will deliver for you. Because we know that social media, when it's an enabler, when everybody is posting great stuff about K24, you're happy about it.
As you said, it's an
one
enabler.
wrong thing would make social media a terrorist.
It will turn on you in the blink of an eye.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. So wow, ladies, this was such a fruitful conversation. I actually really wish like we had an hour. But basically the takeaway from this is that the time for tech, the marriage, like you said, it's time for us to have that wedding.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. So the time for tech and customer experience is here. And if you're a business owner and you're thinking, but maybe, no, you're going to be left behind if you don't start, you know, having these considerations in as far as your business is concerned. So thank you so much, Carolyne and Benta, for coming through. Hopefully we have you back another time so that we can delve deeper into this conversation.
Yes, yes.